Ladies and gentlemen, the long awaited, highly anticipated co founder of the United States National High School Soccer National High School Champions League, Dave Wilson, everybody.
Good morning,
Oh,
Kevin.
man. Top of the morning to you, baby. Wow. Okay. So I know you, Dave, as the humble guy. But I've been talking to you a little bit, and you got some knowledge in between those shoulders, man. Nice going. And so there you go, man. You're a rising star in the United States National High School Champions League starting 11 or thereabouts.
Yeah.
You're a rising star, man. And the last time we heard from you, you talked about 7v7, which is
Yep.
so interesting. And I just been all like a deer in the headlight with that. I mean, that has been wow. What a concept. And I guess football, high school football, has been doing it for a couple years now, huh?
Yeah, that's a mainstay, especially here in Florida. That's it's huge for them. The leagues that they have going on, all besides the high school teams playing in leagues, there's other leagues all over the place, and kids are getting recruited now out of 7-on-7 leagues, not just from high school anymore.
I'll be. Wow. Okay, so there you go, man. Uh, you have the mic.
All right. Well, we always like to make sure that we acknowledge our sponsors when we go through here. And one that we haven't talked about down in Tampa here is Malorian. Malorian is run by Carlos Flores. And I just wanted to make sure that I don't think people understand how important Carlos Flores was to the Champions League, especially early on as we started when it was pretty much just Jim and I trying to throw things together and do things the best we could. Carlos came along and donated a lot of his services for us, became the person that was promoting us more than anything else. And anything from, the medals that we do for at the Champions League for the Final Four teams to doing our early podcasts that we did with him, banners that he would put up, videos of all the Final Four games and stuff like that. He kept just promoting and promoting and promoting us, and he still is involved with us, and he still does our medals for us. He still does anything I need to him. At the draw that we do every year, Carlos did the boards for us so that we can display the names getting picked after they get picked out of the ping pong balls that came out, and put the team names up. Carlos was instrumental in doing all of that stuff for us, and continues to do that. This past year at my high school at Wiregrass Ranch High School, it was our 20th year being open as a school, and we started our first Hall of Fame. Well, Carlos took it upon himself with me pushing him, I guess. But to do our first Hall of Fame dinner and do the wall that we build at that school, and it was going to cost a lot of money for us to do, just the dinner alone, and then doing the wall itself. And Carlos went out and secured our major sponsor for it, and we raised about $20,000 in about 4 weeks, and we're able to put this wonderful dinner together, put money in the coffer for next year, and be able to build the wall that we started at Wiregrass this year. So I wanted to give a big shout out to Carlos Flores and all he's done for the Champions League and for myself.
Pardon why I stand up and applaud. Man, Carlos. Wow. Way to go, Carlos.
Yeah, the big plus about Carlos, besides all of that, is two of his boys played soccer for me. Lorenzo was the early one that played back in probably 2000. Oh gosh, goodness, probably 2013 to 14, 15, somewhere in there. And then Ian came and played for me, and Ian was my first high school All-American at Wiregrass. He has now continued to do, after playing soccer in college, he's continued to coach club. And this past year, he was my assistant coach for at Wiregrass. Phenomenal coach. If I have to choose my successor when I am done after this coming year, Ian will be my top choice for being the head coach at Wiregrass afterwards. So the family has just contributed greatly to our success and everything we do at Wiregrass.
Well, I'm on my feet again. Holy cow, man. I mean, really. Boy, oh boy, you're thinking you're just, starting a league for the boys and girls to kick around high school soccer. And you come and meet people like this. I mean, gosh, man. That's a diamond. That's a diamond. That's a diamond. It's already
Yeah.
taken shape. Wow, man.
Yeah, none of us can do it, by ourselves. And I know you call me humble from the beginning, but there are a number of people that just keep giving and giving to high school soccer. That they know they're not getting paid for stuff that they're doing. They're just doing it out of the goodness of their heart and the fact that it's important to kids, and you give them something that they wouldn't have without you just being able to be there. So, we're very fortunate with a group of people that have just continued to give and give.
Lastly on that is that I have a common theme to a lot of those people is that they were so richly given by others
Yep.
that came before them that it's like they're paying it forward. They're just paying back what was given to them. Man, those people that helped Carlos must have been off the charts, man.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. And he's one of my closest friends. He's my friend. When he calls me, I get to work on my Spanish with him. He knows how bad it is, but he just lets me go. So,
All right then. Well,
yeah.
he's always. I wait a minute, Carlos. Family, you're in the Whale Certified Hall of Fame. Just put you in the Whale Certified Hall of Fame, Carlos.
That's fantastic.
All right then.
All right. The second thing is you brought up before though too is that I wanted to give an update on our 7-7 league.
Wow.
Um, we finished the 4 week pilot program. Sun Lake High School, Mitchell, and Wiregrass did the pilot program this year to see how it will work out. We'll try and get the wrinkles out, see what we can do for the future. See whether we want to continue it next summer and make it bigger next year and have the Champions League sponsor the 7-on-7 league and just do it for more than just the three of us, more than our county, and it went fantastic. The kids that came, they almost self-refereed all the games. We had a coach in the middle that was somewhat there, but just for anything that was like, okay, yeah, that was out of bounds. It wasn't any major rule calls. The kids called their own fouls most of the time. They played, and you could actually see how much fun they were having, and there was no stress about, okay, this is for a championship, this is for anything major, and they just got to play in the summertime together, which a lot of high schools don't get the opportunity to do, and not every state is allowed to do this. We're just fortunate in Florida that they don't restrict us in the summertime, so we're allowed to practice with our teams if we want to, play games and things like that. Um, we are definitely going to move forward next year with trying to expand. The coaches at Mitchell and Sun Lake did a fantastic job with their kids. We didn't have any problems last night. Mitchell brought about 20 kids, so they actually had two teams playing. I had about 20 kids also, so we had games going from 6 o'clock. Actually, we started last night at 5:15, but we had a little lightning, so it started about 5:30 and went to about 8:15. So games were great, and we're going to continue to do it next year.
Wow, man. Wow. Woo. Well, when I come down to Florida, I'm going to pick your brain about the 7v7.
All right, that sounds good. I'm looking forward to you coming, Sil.
All
Seems like
right.
it's too far away, but it'll be here before we know it.
Boom, boom. Yeah.
Yeah. Third thing is we finally have set our preseason tournament for next year for Wiregrass Ranch, and we are playing in a preseason tournament that is, and for other places that don't have preseason games, with Florida, we're allowed to play two preseason games prior to the season starting. They're used, and I definitely use them as preseason games. We'll bring 23, 24 kids to the game, and I'll play all of them pretty evenly. The final score really isn't that important at all, even though everybody still wants to win, but it's not the big picture. But we want to put ourselves in the best situation we can going in to see what we really need to work on, what we, how we stand, what format we're going to work with best, and things like that. But we have a tournament next year that Sun Lake is going to host. Sun Lake High School was a state champion this past year. The other Another team that's in it is Mitchell High School. They are two-time state champions. They've been in the Final Four the last 2 years. Again, they're actually in the same classification as Sun Lake that won it. The third team is River Ridge, which has been in the state Final Four the last 2 years, and then Wiregrass. So if we were going to play in a preseason tournament to know how we're going to be, playing with those three teams in the tournament is definitely going to show us what we have.
Wow. Is Danielle one of the coaches there?
Yes, Danielle's the coach. Fotopoulos is the coach of Sun Lake High School, and she was the coach of the year this year and a state champion in her second year as a head coach.
Yeah.
So
What year did she play in the World Cup? 94, 98.
90, I want to say I thought it was 98.
All right.
Um,
All right.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, man, what a treasure that is. Yeah.
yeah. She's done a fantastic job. I mean, she's just a really quality person, and has her kids knowing what they need to do and working with them and getting them better. And obviously, bringing them all the way to the state final four and then winning it this year is phenomenal. Um, but she has some wonderful assistant coaches. She has Nick Paul, who did a great job this summer with his kids, and just another guy that just doesn't do it for any pay. He does it for the kids, and he does it to make kids' lives better. And it's a reason why high school is different than club soccer or pretty much anything else we find.
Wow. All right.
All right, all right, next thing up, fourth thing. I just wanted to mention about the 501c nonprofit that we have here in the Tampa Bay area, and the reason why we put a 501c together. When we started the Champions League, we were out looking for sponsorship and donations and things, and one of the biggest things businesses would say to us is, is it tax exempt? Do you have how legitimate is this that we're going into it? So we started the Tampa Bay Top 10 Incorporated. It's a 501c nonprofit. It basically made us legit, and it did a lot more than that. But when we went out and reached out to people and said, hey, this is what we got going on, it's a wonderful thing. And now it's a little bit easier than it was then. Um, People would be able to say, oh, yeah, you're a nonprofit. It's listed as a nonprofit in Florida. Made sponsors, get a tax exemption. It gives a tax exemption to us when we have, all the stuff that I have to purchase instead of me having to take it out of my pocket and pay taxes and everything. It's a lot easier. Um, I don't know what I just did too. With that, we also had put a bank account together so that all of our finances were able to be looked at by whoever wanted to look at them. So no one ever questioned that anybody was taking a salary or anybody was doing something they shouldn't be doing. And the biggest thing is it made us legitimate. So I think the national one, now we are looking into starting a 501c for the National High School Champions League. And I definitely recommend it for the other areas that are coming on board. So
Wow. Hey, Dave, how does that work out? Say, like Chattanooga or anybody else afterwards. Could they just reach out to any city, or they reach out to you and Jim Hart and say, "Hey, man, what's the package? What do I gotta bring?"
Yeah, it is pretty much that. People that's if they want to be part of our organization, there's some core principles that we hold them to. Anybody can do it anywhere they want to on their own, however they want to do it. But if they want to be part of the organization, then they have to make sure that they follow some of our core principles.
Okay.
One of them being that that it's not a moneymaker.
Right.
It has to be free for kids and for teams. So if you want to do it, it has to be done through sponsorship, or somebody paying it out of their own pocket, which happens at different places. Um, so that we are going to give kids an outstanding experience, a showcase experience, basically for them. That's not going to cost them the stuff that they have to pay for club. They're not going to tell the parents, "Hey, it's $5,000 a piece, and we're going to travel all over the country." It has to be metro based. We want to make sure that it's done in an area where it's not going to cost parents the money for hotels and stuff like that, etc. So, um, which actually leads into the fifth thing, for me, is the U.S. High School Champions League Zoom meeting is Sunday, July 5th at 6 o'clock. So we will have our bi-monthly meeting. Where we have St. Louis, Tampa, South Florida, and Polk County all have programs that are going on now, and we have pilot programs now in Minnesota, Chattanooga, and the Venice girls are putting a pilot program this year. So we'll be up to about 7 places now that have Champions Leagues, and everybody is welcome. If you're part of the organization, you are part of our meetings, and you're welcome to contribute. During the meetings and find out what's going on in other places. And if you have questions, you're more than welcome to jump onto the podcast, or excuse me, into the Zoom meeting, and find out more about it.
Well, okay. Well, that comes in with Wales Certified because I tape it, I
Right.
record it, and so everything that you want is there, and then you'll get Wales Certified and you'll have it, and that'll start the process. We
Yep.
don't want you to get in and get all the weeds and everything. You got, bugs and everything in those weeds. But we'll give you Wales certified, and then you'll be able to hear and feel. Because I get a good feel on those audio tapes of the Zoom meetings over the past year plus.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And Jim, Jim has conversations with people all the time. Promoting high school soccer and high school Champions League. There's always somebody telling somebody else, "Hey, we're doing this here. Why don't you get in touch with Jim Hart?" And then Jim always makes sure that Perry and I are in the conversations, invited to the meetings with the people, and I'm able to talk through some of the logistics with them and see how it works for them. Every place is going to be different by every association that covers your state has different parameters. You have different logistics you have to deal with, but we're able to help people, navigate through the the beginning parts, especially, and then let them go on their own.
Wow. Well, if I can beg online, if you could possibly, for the first couple, the guy's name, Carlos, and how to spell, send a text to me, please.
Yeah, yeah. I'll send his
Oh,
information.
okay, man. Well,
All right.
ladies and gentlemen, I mean to tell you, this Dave Wilson is like a shining star in the starting 11 or thereabouts. I mean, well done, lad. Well done.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
All right, then. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we've been listening to. We've been listening to Dave Wilson, co founder of the United States National High School Champions League and a rising star in the United States National High School Champion League starting 11 or thereabouts with Kevin Whalen. So long, Dave.
See ya.